If you've written a full series and you want to put your series into an omnibus, meaning book 1, 2, 3, all in one combined compilation that is going to be printed or distributed as an ebook, do you then need another copyright to protect that omnibus, or does your original book copyrights for 1, 2, 3, etc. cover that omnibus? Let's talk to everybody's favorite IP and entertainment lawyer, Tony, to find out more.
My name is Tony Oikasas. I'm an adjunct professor of entertainment law and IP at New York Law School, and I have an Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok account called The IP Professor that's dedicated to all things intellectual property.
I want to talk about copyright of books when it comes to omnibuses. So if we have created a series, books 1, 2, and 3, and then we take book 1, 2, and 3 and put it into an omnibus where those 3 are printed in one book, do we then need to file an extra copyright for this, or will those original copyrights protect that content?
So I'm split on this, but I'm going to provide both perspectives. So on one hand, I would say if you're someone that likes to be ultra conservative and really wants to dot your I's and cross your T's when it comes to fully copyrighting your works, then I would say, yes, go ahead and register that omnibus as a copyrighted work in the U.S. Copyright Office. You can make the argument that, combining 3 books from a series as one, itself could be worthy of copyright protection. So that's something that you could pursue as an option. However, I'm kind of leaning towards option 2, which is I think it's not really necessary. The argument to be made is that the omnibus is really just all the 3 books combined into one. Each of those books is its own individual copyright. And odds are that when you write these books, you register it in the U.S. Copyright Office, and even in the opening pages of the book, you would see the copyright notice with likely certain information of who the copyright owner is, the year of publication, or the year of copyright rather. That type of notice essentially is kind of paramount to letting the reader know, hey, this is governed under copyright law. And especially if you have it fully registered in the U.S. Copyright Office, then you've really built a very robust case at that point that this is, in fact, a fully registered copyrighted work. Not to say that copyright registration isn't mandatory, but it's certainly encouraged, especially if you know that you can anticipate infringement in the future related to your copyrighted works. If you provided that exact same copyright notice for all 3 books and the inner binding, or let's say in the opening pages of this omnibus, I think that carries enough weight, if not the same exact weight, as taking the whole book and registering it in the U.S. Copyright Office. Because at that point, you're telling the reader each of these books are their own individual copyright. So be on notice. This is my copyright. This doesn't belong to someone else. So I think, again, this is going to really depend on the type of author you are. If you really are the type of person that is a victim, unfortunately, of copyright infringement, go ahead, take that whole omnibus, register it in the U.S. Copyright Office, and you can kind of call it a day. But I would say that odds are if you've already taken those measures to register it in the Copyright Office and you and your other books have that necessary copyright notice, just migrate that over to the omnibus and you can kind of call it a day.
Now, let's say we are adding in bonus content, a bonus novella, a bonus scene. Does that then impact whether or not we need it?
Great little hypo there. It's almost very law school-esque that you would find on an exam. So that might actually change the whole equation here, right? Especially if, let's say that this is additional material that you're adding to each of the books. Now, at that point, I would venture to say that this is something that you would have to register in the U.S. Copyright Office. The main reason is because when you register any work in the U.S. Copyright Office, part of the application process is that you're providing the Copyright Office the work that you're seeking to register. So if you registered a painting, you would have to provide the U.S. Copyright Office a copy of what the painting looks like. If you were registering a film, you would have to provide the U.S. Copyright Office a copy of the film. If you were registering music, same story. So odds are when you register your book, you're providing a copy of the manuscript of your book. The manuscript, whatever is contained within that PDF that you upload on the U.S. Copyright Office website, the 4 corners of that PDF are the only thing that will be governed at that time. Any additional content is something that would not be governed under that copyright registration. So then at that case, if you are creating an omnibus, but you are going to add kind of like never before seen content or additional content that kind of adds a bit of a unique dynamic to the story, then at that point, I would highly encourage the author to go ahead and register that entire collective work as a copyrighted work in the U.S. Copyright Office.
And if you have further questions on this, drop those down below. Tony's coming back for upcoming episodes to make sure that we are keeping ourselves legally protected inside of the publishing space. We know it is the wild, wild west out there right now, but Tony has us covered. And as always, if you want to converse with Tony right now and not wait for these episodes, you can reach out to him on his social media. Tony, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at The IP Professor. And you can check out my entertainment law podcast called Unseen. New episodes drop every Friday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
If you have questions on the legal side of the publishing world, drop those now because Tony is coming back for upcoming episodes. And we drop daily episodes to help you navigate the world of writing, publishing, marketing, and the tools and resources you need to make this your most profitable year ever inside of your publishing business. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.